Sammy Scrolls, where I tell you all about some of the best books out there. I'm almost finished my series on The Walking Dead. We're up to book 9. So for anyone who's watched the most recent episode of The Walking Dead as of the 16th of February, I'm not sure when I'm going to get this up, that episode was pretty full on, and this book is pretty much what that episode's based on. This one is very much a roller coaster. This book is where that episode is leading to. We saw what happened with Carl, and in this one that's already happened, but we're starting to see the repercussions of that. Carl is a completely new person now because of what he's been through. Obviously it's slightly changed his personality, and we're starting to see those differences. We do lose some main characters in this book as well. It's one of the, I guess it's the most traumatic book to read, really. Some of the things that happen in this are harder to deal with the previous books because we meet a new villain, and he is terrifying. He makes the governor look like a kindergarten teacher. He's that kind of evil. He has no regard for human life. He wants what he wants, and that's it. And he does have a set of rules that if by the most part you abide by them, you're going to be okay. But the rules are pretty messed up, and the world that he has created for himself and his little group, it's nothing like what Rick has. Rick has copped a lot of criticism both in the comics and out, and people don't understand the kind of situation he's in because, I mean, the zombies haven't risen, so we can't really relate too much to his situation. But in comparison to Negan, this new villain, man, Rick is incredible. I've always stood by his choices for the most part, but a lot of people have said, oh, he could have done better, or he could have saved more lives, or I don't know, like he's too far gone. And then you meet Negan, and Rick is like an angel, because Negan, he's seen the fall of this world, and he's decided to make himself king of it, and he's got people under the thumb, really. He's taken people's wives and loved ones and taken them for his own, and he says it's all voluntary, but I get the feeling that it's probably not. And like his world is built on the system of you have to earn certain things, and he will decide if you're worthy, and he has folks like kneel before him. So that kind of tells you what's going on. We also meet a new group. We've met the Hilltop and Jesus and all the people that live there, and then now we've found the Kingdom. And while that sounds pretty egotistical to have a community called the Kingdom, the guy that runs it actually seems pretty sound. Like, I don't have an issue with him, and he has a tiger. How do you have an issue with a guy that has a tiger? So we're starting to see that Rick and his group, while amazing, they're one of the smaller bunches of survivors. There are people in this world that have excelled and are capable of much more than Rick and his group. But the thing that Rick and the group bring is they've got the experience, they've been through the hardships, they've seen the worst of the world already. And with such a small group, they've only had each other to fall back on. In these bigger groups, it's easy for just a few people to deal with the rough stuff and the rest live completely oblivious. But there's not one member of Rick's group that hasn't suffered or had to do something they wouldn't otherwise do. So they can bring the advice and the people power and prior experience, I suppose, to these bigger groups to prepare them to deal with the likes of Negan. The governor, he was a challenge, definitely, and he's definitely more evil in the comics than he is in the TV show. But Woodbury was much smaller, and it wasn't as well thought out as Negan and his camp. Negan is a monstrosity of evil. There's no other way to describe it. But he's also smart, as some of the more evil people are, because the governor, he didn't start out that way. He was a father with a child and a wife, and probably was a stand-up guy before all this happened, and he changed with the world. That's just something that happens. With Negan, I don't think he was ever good. I think he's one of those people that, you'd be walking around the shops and you just look at them and know that there's something a bit off, or they're up to no good, or that sort of thing. I think he was always one of the bad guys, and he's excelled in this world because he has a lack of empathy for others. He's got no compassion for anyone but himself, and he's so smart, and that's what makes him terrifying, because he is fully aware of what he's doing and the consequences of what he's doing for those around him, but he doesn't care. He does it anyway. He has planned punishments, and he has manipulated people around him, and he knows that all of the people are suffering, but because it keeps him alive and he's happy and he's top dog, he doesn't care. Whether it means just killing someone and then being on his way, or, you know, tearing up someone emotionally, he doesn't care. Whatever it takes, he will break people's spirits to get what he wants, and he's so good at it and so conscious that that's what he's doing. That's what makes him really terrifying. He is violent, but there's more behind it. He's got plans behind that. The governor, he's sort of, I feel like he was just fumbling around trying to figure out what he was going to do and how he was going to cope. But Negan, it's almost like he's been preparing for this his entire life, and then finally the day has come. So this book kind of finishes up with them figuring out how they're going to take Negan down. Is that even possible? Do they have enough manpower? What's going to happen? So I'm looking forward to reading book 10, and then hopefully soon I'll get the next few books. I think I'm 2 or 3 behind, and we'll get back to it. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to come and check me out on Facebook, and if you've got any books you'd like to see on Sammy Scrolls, let me know. Look forward to talking to you. Take care until I see you next time. Bye!